Okay, so now this is the grading rubric, or from where your marks gonna come. The total marks that you're gonna get is 20, and depends on what's the quality and what's the inclusion in your memo. Those will be the results. So the maximum points, again, what you're gonna get is 20 points. 15 points maximum you can get for the content, and 5 points you're gonna get for the presentation. So the presentation is also important. So if you cover the most of the problems in the case, here, if you cover most of the problems, discuss them truly, issue analysis, quantitative and qualitative analysis, and provide a recommendation, you're going to get 11 to 13. In order to get the maximum, you have to cover almost all of the issues. So you can miss only one here. Discuss it through the memo. You have to issue this quantitative and qualitative analysis for every issue. And you have to provide a recommendation. If you're on that level of 8 to 10 marks, half of the major issue discussed, and also analysis is provided. But in this case, the analysis is not that complete, or sometimes it's incorrect, and there is no recommendation here. And from 0 to 7 points, most of the major issue in the case has not been identified, so you basically identify only 1 or 2 issues. There is no analysis on the issue, and there is no recommendation. Or even if there's a recommendation, it's not supported with the analysis. So providing the recommendation is not going to be something that's going to hold you on the high level, unless it is supported by well prepared analysis. Now, on analysis, in order the analysis to be well prepared and to get the maximum point on analysis, you have to do quantitative and qualitative analysis. So the quantitative analysis is when every time when you have some numbers given to you, you have to provide a calculation. So based on the calculation, you have to state your conclusion and recommendation. So for example, you're calculating something. Let's say you have option to run the business, and they give you numbers for the how many customers you're gonna have, how much you're gonna charge per customer, how many products you're gonna sell. You come up with the total sales. Then they give you the cost. You're calculating the cost, and you come up with the calculation. Sales minus the cost, come up with the income. So based on after that, you're doing on your memo, based on the calculation for the net income, my recommendation is to go with the project, or to accept this project, or to continue working on this work. That's the quantitative analysis. Again, you're providing the calculation, come up with the numbers, communicating with the people based on the calculation. This project is going to give you that much income. So my recommendation is accept the project. Or my recommendation is continue working on this, whatever the recommendation is. That's first. Then you have to provide the qualitative analysis. On the qualitative analysis, you have to look at the problem from the positive and negative sides. So what's going to happen if you accept the project on the positive side, and what's going to happen if you accept the project on the negative side? And based on those two, look at the positive, everything that positive and negative the project can give you, and based on that, should I accept the project or should I not accept the project? Yeah, it might look very nice financially, but let's say you're making a recommendation for your friend to change her job. Yes, the offer is better than what you're having right now, but you have to travel 100 kilometers. You have to spend 3 hours on the commuting. You're gonna have less time to sleep and less time for your friends. For that reason, I recommend you not to accept the new offer, because the increase of $500, uh, it doesn't justify all the other negative side that this particular offer is going to give you. My recommendation: wait for the better offer. Don't accept this one. Something like that. But again, to be complete that qualitative analysis, it has to have 3 positive and 3 negative. Not only to identify the positive and negative, but also discuss it. Why is positive and why is negative? That will be expected to be a well-developed, truly qualitative analysis. Now, for the memo organization, you have to follow the structure for the memo. And you have to follow the format of the memo. First, you have to identify the problem, you have to discuss the problem, you have to provide conclusion and recommendation for the problem, how to solve the problem. And in order to get the full marks, there should be no grammar mistakes. So all the time run that spell check on your computer, have it turned on, and that's through the process of writing the memo, it's going to give you either a spelling mistake or something like that. So make sure that it's well formatted, well structured, nice paragraphs. Don't make too big paragraphs. Don't make the whole memo one paragraph. Break it on different paragraphs. Now there will be a calculation part of your memo. You have to make a calculation on revenue and expenses. Information about the revenue is going to be given to you, and information about the expenses is going to be given to you. So based on that information, you have to calculate what will be the effect for the time period which all the sales and all the expenses going to happen, and what will be the income every month, because there will be some changes from month to month. And then the total, is it profitable or not? Is it worth it for this person to accept this project or not, this adventure? Now, that will be the first thing. Second thing, there'll be few requirements. Second thing, you have to look at this problem and the whole situation from internal control perspective. Is there anything that increases internal control in the company? And if there's something, what you're gonna do about it? For internal control, I strongly recommend you to go back to the slides on the internal control from week 5 and see which are the major internal controls. Let me see if I can bring it right here on the screen. So the question will be for you. Can you identify, again, areas for which require internal control? Let me share my screen here. This one. This document is the notes from week 5. Is there any opportunities? Is there any incentive in pressure? Is there any attitudes and rationalization that the person is gonna do? After that, I want you to check. You don't have to write about those things. When you're reading the case, have it in mind. And when it comes to the point to solve the control problems, internal control problems, think about it. Do we have to establish, is there establishment of responsibility? If there is not, step up and provide some recommendation on that area. Is there segregation of duty? If there's no segregation of duty, step up, provide a recommendation. Let's discuss why this is a problem, identify the problem. Let's say, for example, the person's going to deal with the cash, and he also is going to make a bank deposit, and he's the one who is responsible for updating the accounting records. Okay, clearly. So if the person doing all those three tasks all together, there's a potential opportunity for theft or fraud. For that reason, that increasing the internal control, for that reason, we have to establish some procedure, and the segregation of duty will be the right type of internal control here. So what we're going to do, we're going to make one person to receive the cash, second person to enter the cash in the accounting system, and the owner of the company to deposit the money in the bank account. We're going to split those responsibilities, which are the same area, so we can avoid that opportunity for fraud by applying segregation of duty. You can go with the documentation procedures, or you can go with the physical control. Keep those in mind. I mean, they say 6 types of internal controls established, there are only 4 here. So that will be one document that you can refresh yourself and prepare yourself for the class. The other document will be this. Let me open the slides from the last time. Just give me a second. See what the slides are.
Sir, the assignment is on 4, 5, 6 week.
Sorry?
The assignment is on week 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, looks like
right?
that. Looks that way. Yes, you can say that.
Should we prepare like week 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3 on those weeks. Yes, there will be a question on those 2 weeks. I'm gonna give you an idea about that question just in a second. Let's finish this internal control problems, and then we're gonna move to the next one. What I want you to see and what I want you to have in mind. Just give me a second. Okay. I'll give you some ideas. Just a second. Just a second. Let's find all the internal controls. Yes, those are the ones. So basically, again, let me share my screen with you. So first we have to establish responsibilities. Segregation of duty is the second one. Then documentation procedure is the next one, and physical count is the fourth one. Then you can go with the independent internal verification and the human resource control. Those are the 6. Have those in mind, see which one you can implement in your case once you start reading the case. What else you're gonna see on this case? You're gonna see something about long-term assets. That will be from chapter, which was the I know we did this one in week 3. And week 3 we have no, the week 2. The week 2 actually was long-term assets. On the long-term assets, you have to explain, and there will be an asset involved. So you have to explain what will be the proper treatment for that asset. Do you have to expense it right away, or do you have to capitalize it, put it on the balance sheet as a long-term asset, and slowly amortize it over the time in order to match the benefits from the assets with the cost of the depreciation with them for the asset? Most likely will be the second one. So take a look at the idea as while we have depreciation, which asset has to be depreciated. If you can come up with the amount of the depreciable amount, that will be okay, but that's not going to be the crucial part. The crucial part is used to explain which are the criteria which allow you to treat this asset as a long-term asset. Obviously, time of the usage, the amount of the asset, and the continuous revenue that you're going to receive from that asset over the long term or longer period of time. Refresh yourself on chapter 4, please, and the proper treatment for the assets. Also refresh yourself on the method of depreciation, and I want you to recommend some method of depreciation. What will be the method depreciation that you're going to recommend? It doesn't matter. As long as it's reasonable, as long as you can justify it. Make sense? So there's no right and wrong answer here when you're writing cases or when you're writing memo. If you decide to go with the depreciation based on the unit of usage, go for it. If you can come up with a reasonable kind of justification of using that method, go for it. The simple one obviously will be the straight line method. If you go with the straight line method, there's nothing wrong there. I'll leave that for you. What else? That's internal control. What else you gonna see there? I already told you. So you're gonna have calculation. You have to come up with a reasonable calculation. Again, there will be room for the calculation. If you, for some reason, you cannot get it right, that's totally okay. But you have to have the right inclusion in terms of cost. And the other thing will be, once you do the calculation, then comment on the calculation. Say, is it profitable to go with this option? Is it not profitable to go with that option? Then do the qualitative analysis. What's going to happen if you go with that options? Why is profitable? What is not profitable? What's the positive and what's the negative for going with this option? You can easily say, yeah, it will be profitable, but yes, it's going to take you a long time from your life. So you're going to be far away from your friends and your normal life routine. So you require some sacrifices from on your side. That will be another negative side of every option. Internal control is the next one. The asset, I already told you, will be another one. The another one that you might see is to come up with some ethical issue. As you already saw, on week 5, the emphasis was on the indigenous people, and there was a case with the indigenous business. This case, I'm going to give you a heads up, it's also related to indigenous people. So for that reason, I want you to have that in mind and come up with some ideas for ethical, what might be the ethical problem dealing with the whole case. Try to think about the ethical issues in the case and identify some ethical issues in the case. And there will be 1 or 2 more requirements that I want you to focus on, but the requirements will be clearly and explicitly communicated with you, not on at the end of the case, during the case. So you have to pay attention on how to extract the requirements and not to miss the requirements. I'll try to put the requirements as a separate paragraph when it's possible, but sometimes the requirements is part of the entire paragraph. So I want you to be careful once you're reading the case to identify the requirements and to respond to that requirements. So the other thing that I want you to know is that a requirement's gonna say, please provide, please provide, or the owner of the company asks you to provide analysis and recommendation. Those are two activities that you have to provide. When it says analysis and recommendation, those are two activities. Or the requirements might ask, the owner of the company asks you to identify, comma, discuss, comma, and provide recommendation for the potential internal control problems. So you have to do here 3 activities. First, you have to identify the internal control issue. Second, you have to discuss the internal control issue. And the third is to provide a recommendation on internal control issue. So how you should look at this, every time when you see action verb, treat it as a single action. If the action, there's a identify, comma, discuss, comma, serve as a conjunction between 2 different activities. And after that, discuss, comma, and recommend. So then you have 2 activities, discuss, comma, and those are conjunction, which adding another activity. Be careful when you read the case. I know for some of you, for most of us, English is not the first language, and that is not a good excuse how to read the cases. If you have to slow down a little bit, on the parts where the recommendations are given, and make sure you understand everything that you need to do. Again, I'll try to communicate it very clearly with you, so there will be no confusions and nothing that you can miss. The other thing is always the question, the recommendation will be in form of the owner of the company asks you. So every time when you see the owner of the company ask you, that means, hey, should be a red flag in your head. And say, okay, now I have to pay attention what I have to do. The owner of the company also asks you. The owner of the company also wants to know or also ask for your help in this area. That means that's another requirement. Right, pay attention to those sentences, pay attention to those phrases, and you'll be okay.
You mentioned in class that we will start the memo by, you said something about subject, who is writing the memo,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
you will say this memo. I don't know if you can remind us that.
Yes. So what I want you to do is very, very, very simple thing. Before you prepare yourself, it's a very, very, very simple thing. I'm just gonna share my screen here and go to the memo format or memo example. So whatever you want to go, let's go to the memo format and let's put something. So can you see this memo on my screen? Yes or no?
I can see it, but it's so small.
So
Yes, sir.
I know it is very small. I'm gonna try to make it bigger. Let's see, what is this? So you can do the same thing. right? A new computer. It doesn't have to always be mine. It can be in your computer. Can you see it now? A little bit more clear.
Yeah.
So what you have here, name memo first. Second, date. 2 is to whom you write the memo. Obviously, it will be to the owner of the company. Then it will be from you. Subject line. Subject line is, you can say, don't put the case analysis. It's not a case analysis, it's a real scenario. We call it case just for the like academic purposes, but in reality, just pretend this is a real situation. Subject will be discussion on the current situation, or proposal, or discussion on the proposal for the business. Discussion on the business proposal. That should be there. And then first, you can start this. The following, I'm writing here to inform you about the baby shower, planning to do it before we leave your maternity. So basically, the first sentence of the memo should give you an idea what's this memo about. The following memo is about the business proposal and the details that was provided for me to provide recommendations, something like that. Let's keep it very simple, very general, something that gives you an idea about the memo. Let's see another example. This is the baby shower. Let's see if there's any other example here. To inform of the baby shower, that's forget about this baby shower here. That's only baby shower. Here, we are writing to inform you of retirement party of James. So again, you don't have to go we writing or I'm writing. You can easily simply say the following memo, because the memo is going to follow below. The following memo will provide discussion on the business proposal from this and this person. And that's it. That's how you're doing the memo, the opening paragraph of the memo. Let me see if you can get something here from the so again, heading, can you see the headings here?
Yes.
You always have a name, to whom you're writing, or from first. It can be dated. Now you can see different examples. You're going to have different things. Either the date will be the first, either the date will be the third. It doesn't matter. So to whom you're writing definitely has to be there. So to whom this memo is addressed. Who you're writing the memo, that will be you. Then put the date and then put the subject. Business proposal. Or discussion on the business proposal.
So in the body of the memo, we don't need to put introduction.
No introduction. I told you the very first sentence will be the following memo. The very first sentence is your introduction. The following memo will discuss the business proposal provided from this person. And then start writing. Don't waste your time. You don't have time to waste. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's what I want from you. That's what is wanted for you. To keep it simple, let me see, is there any other examples here that I can find? Again, this baby shower, I'm sick of this baby shower. Everywhere is the baby shower. So this is another example, as you can see here on this side. Let me see if I can. No, I cannot stretch it here. So you can see here, memorandum, to whom you're writing, from who's writing. CC, there will be no CC here. Date, subject line, and the first sentence is the marketing presentation. Presentation you prepared last week ish. The showcase in your product line was exceptional. That's something. Thank you for this. Is very that's very simple. But you can the other way you can do it is the presentation for the business proposal that was provided to me for discussion follows in this memo. That will be another way, but I personally prefer this. The following memo, remember, the following memo will discuss the business proposal from this person that was provided to me, and just keep going. Very, very, very simple. Don't go with this. I hope this email, but this is email. This is a email memo template. Not following the email template. We're following the template of the pure memo, which have subject to, from, date, subject line, and start memo. So if you have, you have to provide the calculation. That's out of question. Calculation has to be provided. So for the calculation, what I suggest you to do is do it on the Excel spreadsheet. Don't waste your time to do the calculation in the Word document. Do that on the Excel spreadsheet. So after that, what you can do is very simple. I'll show you right away. Here. Once you open your Word document, what you can do is memo. You don't even have to do memorandum to, from, to XXX, from me. You can easily say me, date. Make sure you put May 16, 2024, and then subject. Subject will be business proposal. Proposal. And then the subject line, the following memo will discuss information provided to me for the business proposal from the person who gave it to you, XXX, and start working. Now, pretend that they have to do the calculation. So open your Excel spreadsheet. Let me open one Excel spreadsheet here. Stop sharing this Word document. I'm going to move now to the Excel spreadsheet. Let's say I have to do my Excel spreadsheet. Let me make it bigger so you can see it. Put your cells. Come up with the calculation. 5 people, $10 per person. Let's say 5 people, $10 per person. That will, or $100 per person. Let's go here with crazy. So this one time that one. Let's get something bigger, or $1,000 per person, $5,000. So I'm going to generate $5,000 here. You can format it with zeros if you don't want digital after the comma. You can easily move it. Then you're going to go with the expenses, and then be careful with the expenses. You're going to have variable expenses, which will be based on the sales, based on those 5 people. And you're going to have a fixed expenses. For example, you're going to have wage. But wage, you're going to have to pay those people, let's say, $20 per hour. Let's not put the $20 per hour. Wage per hour. Then what you have to find out, all those people, 5 people that working, how many hours they actually work. So number of people, hours, number of hours work, and then you're gonna have that will be hours work, and the last one will be what was the 1,000? That's the sales price.
Oh,
Price. So now you can get the sales, and then also you can, let's say they're working, let's say 8 hours per day, 5 people, and the cost will be 5 people times 8 hours times $20 per hour. That's how much you have to pay them for 5 people. Now we have the wages per hour is $20, and the total cost is $800. So at this point, you can come up with the income. Let's say put some fixed costs, which will be the, what will be that? That will be utilities. For utilities, you pay flat $500 per month. Now, if you have it for 3 months, let's say month 1, and then you can go month 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th month. Now the number of the people, it might stay the same or might go exponentially, but number of hours can change. If the numbers per hour change, the price is gonna stay the same. But if the number of hours changes, now the wage is gonna change. So the sales always gonna be the same unless we start selling, let's say we hire here 6 people now. And here next month we hire 7 people. Right, and after that it stays 7 people. So now increasing the revenue, but also I have to increase my hours here, going 15 hours here, going 20 hours, and then I'm staying with 20 hours, 20 and 20. So that will affect my variable cost if I do the formula properly. So I have to lock this cell in order this work to work, and the other two, they're working together. So that's not going to be the appropriate one. So it should be again, let's go with, let me look here the proper cell. Just give me a second. This one is not, should be locked. The purple one should be locked. This one should be locked. And now I should be able to get the total calculation. Now the utility cost is going to stay the same. And then I'm going to have my total cost. And the total cost will be only those 2 lines. And once I have my total cost here from those 2 lines, I can get my net income. And my net income obviously will be my sales minus the total cost. And I have my sales, my income per month. So after that, what you can do is copy this sheet. I can copy it, move to the Word document. I'm gonna stop sharing this. I'm gonna move to the Word document sharing. Right, and once you come here, now we have options what to do. You can come and paste it as a document like this, or you can paste it like this, or you can paste it like a picture. It's your choice what you're gonna do. My suggestion is paste it like a picture, because once you paste it like a picture, you can come here, not like that. Just a second, let me show you. Paste. You can go here, paste spatial, and you can see the paste spatial that you have. You can post it as a picture. If you post it as a picture, the benefit that you can have is I can shrink it without changing the numbers. And now nobody can look here and change any of the numbers that they have. But I can shrink it this way, or I can shrink it, or I can extend it on this way. I can make it smaller, anything that I want to do. But that will be in that picture format. In any other formats, if you paste it in as a different format, for example, that suggested format, that's the picture again. But if you paste it like this, then you'll be in trouble because now I can go and change here. And also on the top, I can move the columns, the size of the columns. So in this area, I'm a little bit more exposed to changes. So, but you still can manipulate the format in the entire sheet. Not to too much extent though. So you have to be careful when you're doing this. When you're pasting in the Word document from Excel. Again, my pure suggestion is paste it as a picture. That will be the best. How we can get that picture? Either because here, that will be the picture that you're pasting. It's going to tell you picture. Once you paste it as a picture, then I can shrink it. Now we're missing some of the information here. As you can see, one of the months is disappeared. So what we have to do is I have to go back to the Excel spreadsheet and copy it again and then paste it as a picture. And now I can do whatever I want with that document. And that document always gonna stay. Once you have this document in the memo format, you can continue writing here. And as you can see from the table above, from the above table, the net income is steady. And every time when you have a mistake, you can easily come and check it. So my recommendation is to accept or decline project. Because that's going to give you that steady income that you want. Right, something like this.
Professor,
Yes.
so those of us that intend to calculate with paper, because we are not, I'm struggling with Excel. So how do we do it?
If you're struggling with Excel, then I told you, then put everything on the paper.
But I mean, I can't paste it on the computer.
No, you cannot paste it on the computer, but if you put it on the paper, then you're going to give me the paper with your memo. After the class, you're going to give me the paper, and on the memo, you're going to put only the numbers that you get from your calculation on the paper. So give me that paper to me, and then I'll consider it when I'm doing the evaluation of your work. That will be the best I can do in these circumstances. I understand that, yeah, moving to computer, we have this problem that what exactly are we testing? Are we testing the computer technical skills of the students, or are we testing their ability to solve the problem? For that reason, for those of you who are not comfortable with Excel and don't know how to do this, or take you especially too much time to do this, then don't do it. Go with the paper. Go with something that's easy and faster for you. And from the numbers that you get on the paper, comment on the memo. I still want you to do your memo on the Word document and then submit it electronically. That should be okay. That should be okay, right? Writing is not a problem on memo, on the Word document. Only
So
calculation. Yes.
does it mean we'll be allowed to use our calculator?
Yes, of course. Otherwise, how are you going to do the calculation? Right? You have to use the calculator. Yes. Bring yourself a calculator, use the calculator. Is there anyone who have the same issue with the Excel spreadsheet, don't know how to use it, and or extremely slow with the Excel? Because that's gonna kill your time.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah. So one thing you should know on the Excel spreadsheet, do you have to be correct on your calculation? Not necessarily. But I need you to come up with some numbers so you can comment on those numbers. yes, I will need you to include some elements from the calculation in order to get your marks. But if you make minor mistakes here and there, that's totally fine. And don't worry, another thing that I have to tell you is don't worry if you make a mistake on the memo. Obviously, if I make a mistake here on the net income, my recommendation is not going to follow the recommendation from the original case. That's not a mistake. You cannot be penalized on the mistake 2 times. Once you make the mistakes, that's why you penalize. After that, if you move to different reality, you're consistent with your calculation. So for that reason, you're gonna get your marks. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to practice. Again, I give you more than enough ideas, and I'm recording this so you can watch it after. You can watch it after, and you can come up with good preparation for Thursday, but only if you want.
So 10 o'clock.
So again, the people who don't submit it by the end of the class, they will be considered as a 0 for submission purposes. So let me go and check it, change it. Instead of 11:59, it's gonna be 10 o'clock, and we're done with this. Okay.
Professor,
Yes.
so how much pages are you actually expecting us?
There's no limit on the pages. If you want, if you can provide me 20 pages, that's even better.
Okay, thank you.
Right? You just write as much as you can. Right? That will be the thing. Don't forget how much marks you're gonna get from this assignment. So based on that, prepare yourself and spread your effort so you can get the maximum possible marks that you can take.
Professor,
Yes.
under the individual assignment, there is another assignment rubrics. Can you explain that?
Sorry?
Under the individual assignment, there is another rubrics. It's like a issue ID, analysis of business environment.
Let me see. Under the assignment on week 6, we're talking about week 6, right?
Yeah.
Assignment. Weekly assignment, individual assignment, weekly assignment, right? That's all.
It's in the individual assignment. There is another rubrics. Can you see that?
Individual assignment rubric.
Yeah. It was different.
Oh yeah, that's different. Let's go over this. So you're gonna have a lot of issues. Ooh.
Do we need to follow that?
Let me see. Yeah, actually, this is the one that I'm gonna have to follow.
Okay. So we need to list out.
Just a second.
Yes.
Let me think about that a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the one that I have to follow. I was looking for exactly this one. So let's go back to the. Let me share the screen. Here's the document. Do you guys know where to find this document? Hello?
Yes.
Do you know where to find this document?
Yes.
It's in
Under
the
the
assignment, right?
assignment.
Yes, in the assignment. So let's look at this document and discuss this document then. Based on this document, the maximum points you're gonna have is 100 points. It's not 20. You're still gonna get your 20%, but different ways now. So what will be that? First, I don't expect you to have any appendices, any quotation, any citation, and anything. You have everything available in the case. All right. If you go with the quotation, citation from any other sources, your mark's gonna go down. So how you gonna start the memo? If you get all the issues identified and discussed in details, you're gonna get maximum 5 points. If you provide, so basically once you see the case, I want you to think about it. What's this business about? How can I analyze the business? What's the strength, weakness, opportunity, threats in this business? Do you know how to do SWOT analysis?
Yes.
Okay, so then you have to do that SWOT analysis. Nothing more, nothing less. Just stay with the SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. Under each of those, I want 3 of them. In order to get your 10 marks, you have to give me 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses, 3 opportunities, 3 threats. Then start working on the issues. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4 issues. There are few more than that, but let's pretend there's like 4 issues. So what I want you to do is to, every time when you have calculation, provide a calculation. If the calculation is related to one period of time, provide calculation for that period of time. When the calculation goes with the second period of time, go with the second period of time. So for example, if the calculation asks you, the first year, this is gonna happen, then provide the calculation for the first year. Second year, that's gonna happen. So provide the second calculation for the second year. Third and fourth and fifth year, we're gonna follow, is gonna stay the same like a second year. Then provide the whole calculation for the whole 5 years based on the second year. And then comment on the entire numbers. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, sir.
Okay. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
So let's see, you have the information for the first month.
Mm.
Then eliminate that one. Right. Provide the first calculation, first issue is the first month. Provide it as a separate calculation. Discuss on the first month only. Make sense?
Yes.
Second month, that's what's gonna happen. Then get the information from here. Right? And then get the second month only. Comments on the number of the second month. And then from the third month, let's say the third month, that's what's going to happen, and that's going to continue for the next 5 months. Then get the entire calculation and comment on the entire calculation. So now you have 3 calculations. As you can see, I have first month calculation for the first month with discussion, calculation for the second month with discussion, calculation for the entire picture with the discussion. And if there's something else, then add something else and discuss it. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
So basically, you have the calculation in the first month in the entire calculation, but you're providing separate discussion for the first month only. Then you have the calculation for the second month, it's a part of the entire calculation, but you're providing discussion the second month itself, like a standalone. And then getting the entire calculation for everything for the entire period, with first month, with the second month, with the third, and going on for the entire period of time, and you provide discussion the second one. Let's say you might have month the next 2 months. I'm thinking to give people some discount, for example. Instead of charging them $1,000, I'm going to give them 10% discount. So I'm going to charge them 1,000 times 0.90%. So I'm going to charge them only 900. Now, if I do that, that will be equal to that one. I'm going to give them 10%. How this going to hit me on the operating income? I'm not changing anything else. I'm just giving them discount. Well, obviously those two is going to stay the same. And that cost going to stay the same, but my sales going to go down. And that's going to hit me on the operating income. Why is that? 630, yeah, because I don't have this calculation. If I get this calculation, my income is going to go with $700 now. Why? Because I'm giving them a 10% discount. So the question is it reasonable or not reasonable? Should I go for it? Should I not go for it? The $700 that I'm losing per month, is it justifiable? Does it make sense for you to lose $700 in order to have more clients? That's where we are. So now you have one calculation, second calculation, third calculation, and fourth calculation, which again, it will be very easy if using the Excel and then split it by piece. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. That's how you're gonna get more issues. So that's how we're gonna get that issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4. Ethical business strategy. On the ethical, I told you I want you to think about the ethical part. I want you to think about this assets. Is the asset? What we're gonna do with the asset, and recommendations. I want you to see that you can provide recommendations. You can provide a recommendation after discussion of every issue, and then you can provide the overall recommendation at the end of your work. Once you provide that recommendation, I want you to think about, even for one step further, of the action plan. What should I do first? If you get some additional questions or some additional items, that will be awarded as well. Check this document. I know it's very rich document. It's very, how can I say? It's very the same. It's rich, but at the same time, it's very general document. But then try to follow this document rather than the other one that I show you. I was looking for the other document. I couldn't find it. Thank you for letting me know. But this will be the document that I must follow now. Once I know it, I cannot ignore it. If you haven't told me about this document, I would follow the other one. But now I know, since I know this one, I have to stay with this one now. And I'm gonna stay with this one and I'm gonna give you the marks based on this document. So familiarize again with the document, know what you have to do all the time, and do it. If you want, I can keep this document on the screen all the time during the exam. So you know what you have to do.
Okay.
Okay?
Sir, we have to submit it in the Word file or as PDF.
Yeah, the Word document, I prefer Word document rather than PDF.
Okay.
Right. Is there any special requirements on the submission? Let me see. Let me check on that submission. Is there anything on the Word documents on anything? No, it doesn't say anything. Okay. Any other questions?
Professor, like the topics to be covered also includes cost, volume, profit analysis, the
No,
WIPC.
there's no, there will be no cost volume profit analysis now.
Managerial accounting
On the managerial
included.
accounting, the only thing that we included you to identify and you included in your calculate, careful with your calculations when you're doing the calculations, which cost will behave as a variable, which cost behave as a fixed cost. Fixed cost
Okay.
obviously is not going to change over the time, but the variable cost is going to change based on the usage.
So basically like computing net income and
Yes, the
expenses.
complete. Yes. It's more like it's going to be more like doing here, even though we haven't studied yet. It's going to be more like preparing a budget,
Okay.
right? So you have to identify. You have to calculate the total sales, and then you have to calculate the total expenses, and to see is it profitable, is it not profitable, how profitable is, and so forth.
So not much on the break-even sales and
No, not break-evens. Break-even is not going to be discussed here.
no break-even.
No. But
Okay.
you're gonna have element of the internal control. Don't forget that. You're gonna have element of the ethical problem, and you're gonna have element of the long-term assets.
And depreciation,
Yeah,
commutation.
that comes with the long-term assets, right?
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah. Keep those in mind. I know I give you a little bit more details, but you better be prepared, to have a chance to get something. Have you done it? Have you done any cases in your study so far here?
No,
No, sir.
Some? For how many of you this is the first case ever that you have to do?
I think for most of us, yeah. It's my first
Raise, raise your hands. Raise your hands in the screen if this is your first case ever that you have to do. I want to see how many people will be the first case ever. That's it. Only 5 people. 6, 7, 8. Okay. 13. That's it. If it's 13, that's not even half of you. Let's try to find something else. Just a second here. Yes. And no. Okay. Let's- see, and okay, let me see if this gonna work. I don't know. Here you go, you can go. I'm waiting for 23 responses. Keep going because the quiz is gonna close. So far, only 15 people answered. So that means seven people are just turn on their screens and they don't do it. Okay, 16. Okay, 16 that's a good 17. Okay, that give me some idea. So the 73% of you never see the case. So that's more than a half. That's what's happened. Okay, got it. Well, you have to do it. There's a starting point, so I guess the proper way is me to give you a little bit more idea about the case and case writing. And this one is not gonna be. It's gonna be memo, right? It's gonna be memo. Okay. That's with the case. I think that's more than enough at this point. Correct?